Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned into another live edition of the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. It's your daily dose of not just the news, but answers that you can use. I do it every single weekday. It's usually about an hour long, and it's for you, if you're watching. Recently, I talked about my health consciousness, even though I'm always conscious about my health in general, as are most of us. If we intend on living for a while, we think about our health. And by doing this, apparently I've inspired a few people. I got a few tweets from those who have been, I guess, stuck for a while trying to figure out the answers. And sometimes what happens when I discover something or when I go through a process, I like sharing that and sharing the experience. It's part of what's driven me to do as much video as I do on a regular basis. So today, instead of just talking about what I did, I want to talk about how I'm maintaining the weight loss that I've gone through. Some people wouldn't perceive that I've even needed to lose weight, but I did. And I know a lot of people out there are kind of in the same boat. Shout out to the Fem Geek on Twitter, one of those who was inspired by my small, very tiny transformation, and she made a recommendation for a film that before I dive into my particular processes, it's called That Sugar Film. That's the name of it. You should be able to stream it on just about any platform that you choose if you have a subscription for that kind of thing. Just look up That Sugar Film. And I would say that it mirrored a lot of my experiences and has only increased my frustration with the state of the world in relation to what we eat, and we need to eat. And this is not, it's not a political statement. I'm not here, saying that everyone needs to lose weight. If you're happy with who you are, that's awesome. What worked for me may not work for you. That's awesome too. So just be happy with who you are, okay? I wanted to say that outright. And some people aren't able to quite understand that I can have a different opinion than they do, but I wanted to put that out there. But I also want to share my experience. So after I get done with this, I'm going to be showcasing today's Pirillo picks. It's a good one, and it also involves food, indirectly. And then after that, I'm going to be answering tech questions and geek questions, and then covering today's tech news and geek news with my patrons. And if you want to become a patron, see all of TLDR, head over to chrispirillo.com. Okay, so I think one of the first things that I needed to establish going into this was that I don't believe in diets. I do not. I don't believe in diets. That diets inevitably will set you up to fail. I've always believed in making lifestyle changes and course corrections. So over a decade ago, I recognized the evils of sugar, and the sugar occurs naturally, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the processed, refined stuff that they inject in everything, and most of what you find in the grocery store, sadly. But to take the approach of, I'm going to diet, is setting yourself up for failure, because inevitably you're just going to go back to your old patterns. What you need to do is you need to change your patterns, and you need to change your habits. And I recognize that. So eons ago, I cut out anything that was artificial sweeteners, artificial fat, anything, artificial anything, gone, just off the table. And again, I've had, I've tried fun things, and they have artificial colors and flavors and stuff. And I'm human. I like to have fun too, but that's not the staple of my diet. And when I say my diet, I'm saying what I normally eat. I'm not saying go on a diet. Because the last thing I would recommend is stop eating. That's the wrong thing you want to do. Or wrong thing you want to do? That's the last thing you want to do. You got to eat. So I don't believe in diets. And so that's not how I've been able to lose the weight or maintain it as long as I have. But that's in learning, learning what works for me and for my body. But again, that may not work for you. Just don't believe in diets. Don't chase a diet. Don't. Because inevitably it will fail. When you make it your lifestyle, it's no longer a diet. It is your diet. I also know that some people are into exercise. I get enough exercise having a baby and a kid. Trust me, you get a lot more exercise than you'd imagine. A lot. And that gives me plenty of exercise. I've had all my vitals checked. I'm good to go. So beyond that, and this kind of speaks to the idea of not chasing diets and eating a certain way. part of this is finding new patterns and new habits. And in many ways, being a parent has forced me to find new habits, because we've got a different schedule. So another way I'm able to maintain is that when I wake up in the morning, when I'm here, Diana, my wife, will make eggs. 3 eggs, fried in butter or ghee. Again, no artificial anything. Margarine is bad. Bad, wrong, bad. Margarine, you can set it out on the windowsill for 1,000 years and it'll be in the same condition as it was the day you set it out. I mean, that's not something your body knows what to do. I'm just saying. It's not good stuff. I go for the natural thing, the real deal. And so, I have eggs in the morning. That's my breakfast. Sometimes I'll have, uncured bacon. Other times I might have, some cheese. But it's that, because I recognize protein's going to fill me up. It's going to get me going. Right. And, there's no sugar in there. It gets me going. I'm not hungry, apart from, maybe wanting to snack on some nuts or cheese, in the middle of the day beyond the breakfast. So that's a pattern. I have to have my eggs in the morning. Now, throughout the day, it's going to change. It's going to vary, but I have certain types of snacks and I just go to them all the time. My nuts have to be, what is it? You put in the oven, not broiled. What, broiled nuts? Roasted. They have to be roasted because, and I'm saying buy raw, roast in olive oil or something. And the reason why, number one, because I want to know what goes as much into that nut, because that's going into my body. But I have to roast nuts. I can't eat them any other way. Otherwise, the pollen will trigger my oral allergy syndrome, which is something that, as an adult, hit me and made it very, very difficult to have certain foods. So I have patterns. So establish new patterns. That's more than anything is going to be more to you than having a diet. Patterns. At night, it's a round robin. It's usually a protein and a green. I look forward to a snack, edamame, just little beans. You pop the pods and I'm good to go. But it's a pattern. It's cyclical. It's something I can count on. And when I find myself in a pattern, it's easier to just, this is the way it is. Like, I get to a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. I want my eggs. And it's a good thing to want. So patterns and habits are another way that I've maintained. And see, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to something old because whatever was old didn't work. I've got a new pattern, not a diet. Another thing that I've recognized, and this is really something that hit me eons ago, but again, this last time, because I've struggled with this my entire life. And for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not the only one, apparently. More and more people suffer from undue fat than used to. Grains and starches, processed grains and general starches. I can't eat. My body reacts differently to them. Like if bread is no good. I can't. I don't need it. I don't need it to survive. I get plenty of fiber elsewhere. But starches, even the starches, potatoes, out, pasta, out, rice, generally speaking, out. I'll have it every so often, but it's not a part of my regular routine. So dropping grains and starches have been amazing, on top of dropping sugar, on top of dropping artificial everything. And trust me, there's plenty left. There is plenty left. Is it going to be as colorful? And yes, possibly. Is it going to come in a box? Not necessarily. If you're used to buying boxed food, I guarantee you're never going to keep it off. If you're used to buying processed food, forget it. Just forget it. Give up now. If you're buying sugar, everything, just give up now. That's not healthy food. They call it healthy, but it is not healthy. The food industry, and I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat, it's the food industry. It's not the health industry. The food industry is there to sell product to you. So they want to sell you a product that's addictive so that you buy more. All right, okay, I'm moving on from tinfoil hat off. Another thing that I wanted to mention as a part of my habit, another reason why I'm able to maintain, again, being a parent, we've changed our habits, changed our behaviors. We stopped going out to eat. going out to restaurants. You notice back in the day with the vlogs, Diana and I would go out frequently enough, and I would watch, for the most part, what I would normally get. Like if I ordered a hamburger, I would get it wrapped in lettuce, and if I got a submarine sandwich, it was usually wrapped in lettuce. That never really changed. I don't count calories. Because a calorie is not a calorie, seriously, a calorie in soda is completely different than a calorie in a can of nuts. Completely different. Your body's going to handle them differently. Same calories, but your body, it's not about that. It's not about calories, man. Keep telling you this. It's not about calories. It's about the products that you're putting into your body and what your body can do with them. Your body may be different, completely different from mine, because you're going to have different microbes in your digestive tract. They could come down, your intestines may have different microbes, and that could actually influence what your body's able to do with the food at a substantially deep level. But stopping going out to eat has been a godsend, because the problem with going, at least in America, the problem with going out to eat is your options aren't, they're plentiful, but what are you really selecting from? Honestly, most of the you don't know where the food necessarily came from. You don't know how it was processed. You don't know what was put in it. And more than anything, you can't necessarily count on the quality of what's there. It shocks me, just looking at labels on foodstuffs, shocks me. Right now, I got garlic salt the other day, or Diana would feed me garlic salt. And then I looked at the label and it says it's hydrogenated. I'm like, dude, no, gone. Out. No, won't touch it. I will. Once I'm like, if I read the label, I don't want it. That's the thing, man. I go, the fewer words on that label, the happier I am. It's dangerous because you're gambling with your own life, honestly. And you can be ignorant if you want at this stage. I don't think you are. You could ignore what's going on, or you could decide what if it's valuable enough for you to do it. What is more important? And honestly, I will tell you, Jerry Berg inspired me. He said he was going to lose weight, and when he poked my belly, I'm like, that was it. I was like, I've done this before, and I know what I need to do, and I learn something new every single time. But not going to restaurants has been awesome for the most part. I mean, in terms of not going out to restaurants. That's not our pattern. It's not our habit. We don't do that for a lot of different reasons. We save a lot of money too. We get manager special at the grocery store we go to. They'll have fruits and veggies and stuff that is ready to be done, like the shelf life, but it'll be like half off, if not more. Like we got a bag of limes, just a small bag of limes, because Diana reheated the pozole that her mom made last night, and she said, get a couple of limes. I looked at the limes, I was like, two for a buck, dude, little small. No, I'm like, but I got a whole bag, like huge, like 10 limes for a buck. I'm like, why wouldn't you spend $1 on 10 limes versus 2? So it's just a different way of thinking, and you can eat healthily, just don't eat healthy. And again, I will point to the Femme Geek as an inspiration, because or a reverse inspiration, because that sugar film was the most recent one, just the other night that we watched, and that is what drove Diana to recognize that it was time for a change herself, because they said one thing, and I'm not joking, sugar causes highs and lows, and sugars and everything, these healthy foods, but more than anything could actually exacerbate your mood, and your mood can change and fluctuate, and things that you would otherwise never do or experience could happen because of sugar. It's a mind-altering substance. Once you're off it for a couple of weeks, though, the cravings kind of disappear. I've been off sugar, generally speaking, for 10 years. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I like snacks, though. I do like, every once in a while I'll get a little, coffee crisp, a bite of coffee crisp from Canada, or a little nib of chocolate, dark chocolate, or something like that. So I'm not saying avoid those things, because I refuse to feel guilty about that. Be happy with who you are, though. So those are, probably more than 3 ways that I'm able to maintain my weight loss. And what's nice is that I'm finding, as I pull this over here, let's see, this is a big screen. I say that every time I pull it over. It does amaze me, though. Eric is Oh, I'm not a dietitian. Please consult your doctor before starting any. Yes, that is true. I'm not a dietitian. I've seen some dietitians that I'd kind of question, like, do you know what you're doing? Some people don't. I'm just saying. Another thing I don't do, believe in studies. Because a lot of studies are funded. And you don't know necessarily who funded the studies. I don't believe in studies. All I know is, look, when I do this, this happens. So I'm going to do that. You know, when humans evolved, we did not evolve with grocery stores and the plentitude of the food that we have around us. So it doesn't shock me that the world, not just this country, the world is now suffering from problems with health in general, weight notwithstanding. It's something that's kind of nice to know that at least the things that I've done as just a regular human being, I'm credentialed in the school of I lost weight. Lost fat, I should say, because I got plenty of muscle. If I didn't have muscle, I wouldn't be able to walk around or lift the heavy things that I have to lift on a regular basis. And especially as Jedi, as she gets older, she gets heavier. This is what she's supposed to do, though. The fact, though, that some people have said, you know, Chris, you explain things very well. You explain things clearly. You made it so I understood it. If I've inspired other people to kind of take the same path, I'm happy to do that. That's the reason why I wanted to take the time to talk about this today, because it's something that I've gone through, and it's something that frustrates me when I look at the array of geeks out there. And like I said, I know there's fun stuff, but you know, I wish that instead of reaching for, you know, certain things, you would possibly reach for other things, because your body's suffering and you may not see it immediately. It may be a long-term problem, or it's something that won't impact you for years to come. But the sooner you do that, the better off you may be. Big May. Now, I'm not a dietitian. Not, you know, but I also don't want to stress out over everything. I'm not a big fan of the more complex it is, the less I want to do it. So I believe in making it simple, and hopefully I've made it simple or explained in general terms the simplicity of my situation. Because believe me, I'm not going to. It's not about having an app. In fact, every app that I've tried sucks. Every tech that I tried, Did the Apple Watch motivate me? No, not really. I wear it to check the weather. It's the weather watch. Okay, so I am going to move on now. I'm going to eat some trees. Oh, broccoli. That's broccoli. I love broccoli. So does Jedi. Jedi actually enjoys more of a food range than I do. She likes corn and peas and cooked carrots, and she can have them. We'll get along like two peas in a pod. But she loves edamame. Okay, so I'm moving on to today's Pirillo picks. You are going to love what I'm about to showcase. And it does have to do with food and dinner and eating at home, and you're going to love it. I love it. It showed up last night, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So after this, I'm going to be talking tech and geek stuff with the patrons, and also talking about the tech news and geek news and stuff. You can tune in for that, get all of TLDR, which is usually not me talking about health and food and stuff, but it's something that I'm interested in. I'm genuinely interested in this stuff. It changed my life, and I could change somebody else's too. And so it's absolutely worth doing, rather than talking about the latest, whatever. I want to talk about things that, ultimately matter to you and me. Because that's what I'm going to do. Okay, head over to chrispirillo.com for all of TLDR. Today's free podcast highlight was brought to you by all of my active patrons from chrispirillo.com. If you want access to the full TLDR episodes, both audio, video, past, present, and future, which can be up to an hour long or longer, with even more tech insight from me every weekday, plus other bonus content without ads, and supporting me at the same time, you can sign up to become one of my supernomies too. This is just a brief taste of what I'm producing for you daily. Again, get more through chrispirillo.com.